The man kept finding excuses to walk by their table, finding reasons to talk to her. Omar clocked it long before she did. She was too busy texting the babysitter and checking on her kids to notice. Omar didn't say anything when the man asked Mandreka if she knew any good spots to grab a drink after dinner. He didn't say anything when the man stopped by to ask where the bathroom was. He didn't even interrupt when they discussed her favorite item on the menu while the man pretended to be looking for recommendations. But Omar had to draw the line when he overheard the man approaching Mandreka outside the ladies' room. Is he your husband or just a date? "3 weeks passed. No texts, no calls, no late-night confessions. No, I can't sleep. Nothing. Mandreka spent those weeks rebuilding herself, working, being a mother, meditating, pretending she wasn't checking her phone every few hours, pretending she didn't wonder if Omar missed her, pretending she didn't replay every word from that night. And some days, she almost believed it herself. Almost. The knock came just after 9. 3 soft knocks. Not aggressive, not urgent, just familiar. Mandreka froze immediately. Took some time to collect herself before she opened the door. And there he was, Omar. Neither one of them spoke, not at first. They just stared. Weeks of missing each other, hanging in the space between them. Heavy, unspoken, painfully obvious. Then Omar stepped forward and hugged her. That's it. No speech, no explanation, no defense. Just wrapped his arms around her and held on. Like he finally let his heart stop running. And Mandreka, she folded immediately. Because she missed him too. Missed his smell, missed his warmth, missed being understood, even when he didn't understand himself. I'm sorry. The words were barely above a whisper, but she felt them. I'm sorry too. And somehow, that was enough. For now. You would think, after the way things ended, they'd both be a little hesitant to continue investing in this connection. But they weren't. They jumped right back in like they never missed a beat. There was a hole the breakup created, and they both rushed to fill it with intimacy, comfort, and dependency. Neither one of them wanted to sit with the ache of missing the other, so they didn't. Instead, they reached for each other. Again. The problem was, they never talked about the things that caused the breakup in the first place. How Omar pushed her to let him in, then pushed her away the moment she did. How he demonized her flaws and walked away after convincing her it was safe to show him the parts she usually kept hidden. The parts she thought he wanted access to. It hurt too much for Mandreka to acknowledge, and Omar carried too much guilt to revisit. So they both pretended it never happened. Can I ask you a question? Mandreka asked, tracing the veins on Omar's wrist with her finger while they sat tangled on her couch. Yes, he replied softly, resting his hand on her shoulder. You don't even know what I was gonna... Did I think about you? He interrupted quickly. A small smile pulled at the corner of his mouth. Yes, I did. Mandreka rolled her eyes and smiled despite herself. How could she stay mad after that? Yes, Omar was inconsistent. Yes, he was stubborn. And yes, his ego was still big enough to need its own zip code. But there was something about him. A pull she couldn't explain. And moments like this only made it stronger. Because somehow, Omar got her. She didn't know how. She didn't know when it happened, but he did. They couldn't keep their hands off each other. Not because of desire alone, because touching each other felt like relief. Like finally scratching an itch neither of them could reach on their own. For a little while, holding each other quieted the noise, the overthinking, the fear, the loneliness. And for a while, that felt like enough. It wasn't. But neither of them was ready to admit that. One night, during a dinner date, Omar noticed a man staring intensely at Mandraka. It bothered him for some reason. The man kept finding excuses to walk by their table, finding reasons to talk to her. Omar clocked it long before she did. She was too busy texting the babysitter and checking on her kids to notice. Omar didn't say anything when the man asked Mandraka if she knew any good spots to grab a drink after dinner. He didn't say anything when the man stopped by to ask where the bathroom was. He didn't even interrupt when they discussed her favorite item on the menu while the man pretended to be looking for recommendations. But Omar had to draw the line when he overheard the man approaching Mandraka outside the ladies' room. "Is he your husband or just a date?" the man asked. Before Mandraka could answer, Omar stepped beside her. "She's taken." His voice was calm, but firm. He took Mandraka's hand without even thinking about it. The man looked at him. Omar looked back. Neither smiled, neither moved. Just an awkward, silent battle that ended when the man finally nodded and walked away. "He didn't mean anything by it," Mandraka said as they climbed into the car. "He was there with someone too." "That doesn't mean anything," Omar said as he pulled out of the parking lot. "He was plotting the entire time. I saw him." Mandraka couldn't help but laugh. The tension in his eyebrows alone was worth laughing at. "You're not jealous, are you?" she asked. Omar adjusted his jacket. "That's not my thing." "Liar," Mandraka said, turning toward him. "You were jealous." "I just don't like dudes being disrespectful." His grip tightened on the steering wheel. "You were clearly there with me. Why does it matter if we're married, dating, or just on a date?" "Well, it matters a lot." She smiled, looking out the window. "I'm single. I can enjoy another gentleman's company if I choose." Omar's head turned so fast she burst into laughter. "Oh, so you were jealous?" She pointed at him. "You were definitely jealous. I think you've had a little too much to drink," he said as he shook his head. And honestly, she probably had. "And I think you're always in your head." Mandraka smiled and reached over to touch his arm. "Loosen up." She leaned her head against the window for a moment before looking back at him. "I'm with you." Her voice softened. "You don't have to compete with some random guy for my attention." "Really?" Omar asked, like he wanted to believe her, but wasn't sure he should. "Yes." She smiled. "And the only person that can mess that up is you." For the first time all night, Omar smiled. The kind that made him look younger, less guarded. The traffic light ahead turned red. They stopped. the city glowing around them. Quiet, comfortable. So, what are we doing? Omar asked suddenly. Mandrake looked over. What do you mean? Us. He turned toward her, his expression more serious now. What are we doing? Mandrake studied him for a moment. The jealousy, the concern, the way he looked at her when he thought she wasn't paying attention, the way he kept coming back. Then she smiled, a slow one, dangerous, but beautiful. Come upstairs. She reached over and kissed his cheek. Maybe I'll finally give you the answer you've been looking for. The light turned green, and neither one of them noticed right away. A horn blared behind them, pulling them both back to reality. Mandrake laughed first, then Omar. The kind of laugh that only happens when you're completely distracted by someone else. Drive. She nudged his shoulder. They smiled at each other, and for a moment, everything felt easy. The rest of the drive to Mandrake's house was quiet. Her hand rested on his thigh, his hand rested on top of hers, and the city lights passed by outside the window like distant stars. I miss this, Omar said softly. His thumb rubbed across the back of her hand. I know. She squeezed his hand back, because she missed it too. When they pulled into her driveway, neither one rushed to get out. They just sat there, listening to the music play quietly through the speakers. Come inside. Mandrake smiled. I was planning on it. Mandrake leaned over and kissed him softly, forehead resting against his, eyes closed, breathing him in. Come inside, she whispered, and stay. Omar's chest tightened, because somehow those two words meant more than every passionate night they'd ever shared. Stay. For the first time in a long time, he believed he could. The weeks that followed felt easy, and after everything they had been through, easy felt like a miracle. Saturday nights became theirs, without discussion, without planning. It just happened. Dinner, a movie neither one paid attention to, too much laughing, too much touching, too much staring. The kind of night that always ended with one of them saying they should probably go to bed and neither one actually leaving. The kids met Omar, and it happened without some big conversation. Life just happened. And somehow he fit. Helping with homework, making snacks, listening to stories he didn't understand, showing up again and again, until his presence stopped feeling new and started feeling normal. Mandrake noticed it first. The way Omar remembered little details, favorite snacks, school projects, soccer games, the things people only remember when they care. Work became easier too. Lunch breaks together, random text, small moments stolen between meetings. The kind of connection that made a normal Tuesday feel important. Sometimes they did absolutely nothing, and somehow those became her favorite days. Mandrake curled against his chest while he watched sports, Omar rubbing circles on her shoulder while she read a book. No performance, no pressure, just peace. I love this, Mandrake whispered one evening as she motioned around the room. The couch, the blankets, the silence. Him? Omar smiled. Me too. And for a moment, they believed they had finally figured it out. A few weeks later, Omar found himself standing in Mandrake's kitchen at 11 o'clock at night, making grilled cheese sandwiches just because she said one sounded good. I bet you do this for every girlfriend when you spend the night. Mandrake teased as she sat on the counter watching him struggle with the spatula. Not really. Mandrake rolled her eyes, but she smiled. You expect me to believe that? Omar slid the sandwiches onto 2 plates and set one in front of her. Well, that's hard to believe, Mr. Relationship Expert. Omar laughed. That's not what people call me. Mandrake shook her head and took a bite. The kitchen fell quiet for a moment, the kind of silence that only happens when you've stopped trying to impress each other. Omar leaned against the counter beside her, their shoulders barely touching. This is different for me. Mandrake looked over. What's different? Omar stared down at his sandwich for a second before answering. Everything with you feels different. His voice softened. He glanced at her, more intense. And? Mandrake asked. Omar smiled to himself. And I find myself doing things I've never done before. Mandrake tilted her head. The look she gave him made him feel seen in a way he wasn't used to. What kind of things? Omar laughed. No, seriously. He shook his head. I've spent most of my life chasing excitement. Mandrake listened. And somehow, he looked around the kitchen. I ended up liking this more. He motioned around the room. Something in Mandrake softened. Omar stepped a little closer. Not much, just enough that their shoulders rested comfortably together. I've cared about women before. His voice dropped lower, but I've never wanted to share my life with them. She felt that, felt the truth in it, because Omar wasn't good at pretending. Not when it mattered. Me neither. Her hand found his without thinking. I've loved people before. Her thumb brushed across the back of his hand, but I've never felt this comfortable. The room got quiet again. Neither looked away. I feel really close to you. Mandrake said it softly, certain, like she wasn't afraid of the words. Omar looked at her for a long moment. I feel close to you too. Neither one moved. Neither one spoke. And somehow, the space between them felt smaller than it had a few minutes ago. They weren't talking about relationships anymore. They were talking about belonging. Speaking of life, Mandrake said suddenly. Omar raised an eyebrow. My daughter graduates next week. A smile spread across his face. Already? Already. She laughed. I swear, she was 5 yesterday. You're getting old. Mandrake threw a napkin at him. Anyway, she smiled. I was wondering if you wanted to come. The joking disappeared from Omar's face. Really? Yeah. She tried to sound casual, failed miserably. You've become important to us. Not me. Us. Something shifted in Omar's expression. Something warm. Something proud. Something a little overwhelmed. I'd love to. Mandrake smiled, and for some reason, that answer made her happier than she expected, because for the first time since meeting Omar, she wasn't imagining another date, or another weekend, or another night together. She was imagining him being there for the moments that mattered. And somehow, that felt different, bigger. more real. Omar placed his hands on her shoulders, not rushing, not forcing anything, just wanting to be closer. His hand found hers again. You know, he said, smiling, I think that's the nicest thing you ever said to me. Mandrake laughed softly. Don't get used to it. I already am, Omar replied. She rolled her eyes, but she couldn't stop smiling. Neither one knew who moved first. Only that somewhere between the laughter, the grilled cheese, and the conversation, they ended up forehead to forehead. Quiet, warm, certain. And for a moment, the rest of the world disappeared. Mandrake closed the distance between them and kissed him. The graduation snuck up on them. 1 minute, Mandrake was helping with homework and permission slips. The next, she was sitting in an auditorium trying not to cry while her daughter crossed the stage. Omar sat beside her, one hand wrapped around hers, the other holding the graduation program. You crying already? He whispered. I'm not crying. Your face is leaking. Mandrake rolled her eyes and wiped beneath them anyway. Mind your business. Omar laughed, and somehow that made her emotional all over again. The rest of the day felt warm. The kind of day you wish could stay exactly as it is. Family, friends, food, pictures, stories. The people who loved her all gathered in one place, and somehow, everyone loved Omar. Her friends loved him. Her cousins loved him. Her mother kept finding reasons to talk to him. Even her father, who usually looked suspiciously at every man who came near his daughter, seemed comfortable around him. He's funny, her mother whispered. I know. He listens. I know. He looks at you like he adores you. Mandrake smiled. I know. The weird part? She wasn't even surprised. Because she liked him too. More than she should. More than she planned to. The day stretched into evening, then night. Eventually, everyone went home. The kids settled down. The dishes got done. The house grew quiet. Mandrake and Omar found themselves sitting at the edge of her bed talking about absolutely nothing. Their best conversations always seemed to be about nothing. I still can't believe she graduated, Omar said. I can, Mandrake replied. That's because you're old. Omar joked. Mandrake threw a pillow at him. Keep talking and you're sleeping in your car, Mandrake said. Omar laughed, the deep laugh she loved. A soft knock interrupted them. The bedroom door opened and her daughter peeked inside. Good night. Good night, baby. Mandrake smiled. Her daughter looked at Omar, a grin spreading across her face. Without saying a word, she held out her hand. Omar immediately sat up. The two of them launched into the most ridiculous secret handshake Mandrake had ever seen. Finger snaps, hand slaps, a fist bump, some weird spinning motion, then a dramatic explosion at the end. And for a second, Mandrake just stared. Because the handshake wasn't what got her. It was how natural it felt. Like they'd known each other forever. Like he belonged there. Like this wasn't something being forced, or rushed, or imagined. Her daughter smiled. Night, Omar. Night, kiddo. The door closed, and the room went quiet again. Mandrake looked at him. Really looked at him. Not as the man she couldn't keep her hands off of, Not as the man who challenged her, not as the man she kept breaking up with, but as someone standing inside the life she built and fitting into it. A feeling settled in her chest. Warm, hopeful, dangerous. For the first time, Mandrake wasn't thinking about the next date, or the next kiss, or the next night together. She was thinking about forever. And that scared her a lot more than falling in love ever did.
I'm jealous of your left side neck tattoo, 'cause it means so much to you, and it won't ever remove. I'm jealous of your day one cousins too, 'cause they knew you from the womb, and know all that you've been through. I'm jealous of the way the sun gets to shine on you. I'm jealous of the way the moon spends its nights, watching you snooze even in your sleep. You're so fine. Please tell me, babe, is it a crime? Can I just get all of your time? I'm selfish 'cause you're supposed to be all mine. So don't let the wind kiss your face. All mine. No, don't let nothing take my place. Supposed to be all mine. From the car you drive to the street you ride. I'm jealous. I'm selfish. All mine. I'm jealous of the seasons as they change, 'cause they seen you through the rain, and you ride through all the waves. I'm jealous of your coworkers all day, 'cause they get to pick your brain. And I know this might sound strange, but don't mention none of your exes, erase that list. 'Cause in my mind I gotta pretend that they just don't exist. Ain't even my fault, you're so fine. Please tell me, babe, is it a crime? Can I just get all of your time? I'm selfish 'cause you're supposed to be all mine. So don't let the wind fade. All mine. No, don't let nothing take my place. Supposed to be all mine. From the car you drive to the street you ride. I'm just jealous, jealous. I'm just selfish, selfish. All mine. So don't let the wind kiss your face. No, don't let nothing take my place. I know it sounds crazy, babe, but I'm jealous.